The Sick Old Man. Chapter 1. The Lonely House on the Hill. In a quiet village, nestled between green hills, there was a small wooden house. It stood alone, far from the other homes, and many people hardly ever went near it. The villagers would often point at the house and say, "That's where the sick old man lives." His name was Mr. Henry Dawson. He had once been a strong and respected man. Long ago, he was the village's best carpenter, building homes, schools, and even the town's church. But now, at the age of 82, he was weak and sick. Mr. Dawson lived alone. His wife had died 20 years ago, and his only son had moved to the city. Since then, no one came to visit. He rarely walked outside. He spent most of his days lying on his bed, coughing and looking out the window. All he had was a radio, a few old books, and memories. Chapter 2. The New Neighbor. One summer morning, a young boy named Eli moved into the village with his mother, Anna. They rented a small house not far from Mr. Dawson's place. Eli was 10 years old, full of energy and curiosity. While playing near the woods one day, Eli saw smoke rising from the chimney of the lonely house. He asked his mother, "Who lives there?" "That's Mr. Dawson," she said. "He's very old and very sick. He doesn't talk to anyone." Eli was curious. "Why is he alone?" Anna didn't know how to answer. "Sometimes life becomes that way," she said softly. But Eli couldn't stop thinking about the sick old man. Chapter 3. The First Visit. One morning, Eli picked some wildflowers and walked to the house on the hill. He knocked on the door. No answer. He knocked again. After a while, he heard a voice. "Go away." But Eli didn't go. He said, "I brought flowers." There was a pause. Then the door slowly opened. Mr. Dawson stood there, leaning on a wooden cane, his face pale and thin. "Who are you?" he asked. "I'm Eli. I just moved here. I live down the hill." Mr. Dawson looked at the flowers in the boy's hand. He took them silently and nodded. "Thank you." Eli smiled. "Can I come again tomorrow?" The old man didn't answer, but he didn't say no either. Chapter 4. Slowly Blooming. The next day, Eli came again, and again the day after. Slowly, Mr. Dawson began to expect the boy's visits. Eli would tell him stories from school, talk about birds and trees, and ask many questions. Mr. Dawson would sit in his chair, sometimes answering, sometimes just listening. Days turned into weeks. The old house, once filled with silence, now had the sound of laughter. Eli helped sweep the floor, make tea, and bring groceries. His mother even sent warm food for Mr. Dawson every evening. "I haven't eaten a hot meal in years," the old man said with tears in his eyes. Eli smiled. "Now you will, every day." Chapter 5. The Hidden Past. One rainy afternoon, Eli asked, "Mr. Dawson, do you have a family?" The old man's face became serious. He looked out the window for a long time. "I had a wife. Her name was Mary. She died of cancer. I also have a son, Peter." "Where is he?" "In the city. We had a fight. He hasn't come back in 15 years. Eli looked sad. "Don't you miss him?" "Every day," Mr. Dawson whispered. "But pride keeps us apart." Eli didn't say anything, but in his heart, he made a decision. Chapter 6. Letters That Never Came. Eli began writing letters. With the help of his mother, he found Peter Dawson's address. The first letter said, "Dear Mr. Peter Dawson, my name is Eli. I'm a boy from your father's village. He is very sick, and he misses you. Please write to him. Yours truly, Eli." Weeks passed. No reply. Eli didn't give up. He wrote again and again. Each time he added details. "He still keeps the chair you made together. He talks about you every day. He's getting weaker." Still, there was no reply. Chapter 7. The Hospital Visit. One morning, Mr. Dawson fainted while trying to stand. Eli found him on the floor and screamed for help. Neighbors came, and soon an ambulance arrived. He was taken to the hospital. Eli and his mother visited him every day. But Mr. Dawson was not the same. He was weaker, barely eating. "I think my time is near," he said one day, holding Eli's hand. "Don't say that," Eli cried. "You'll get better." Mr. Dawson smiled. "If I don't, remember me. You brought light to an old man's life." Chapter 8. The Surprise Visitor. 1 week later, a man in his 40s walked into the hospital room. He had a beard, tired eyes, and held a letter in his hand. It was Peter Dawson. He looked at his father sleeping and whispered, "Dad." Mr. Dawson opened his eyes slowly. For a moment, he didn't believe what he saw. "Peter?" "Yes, I'm here, Dad." Tears rolled down both their cheeks. They held hands tightly, as if afraid to let go again. "I'm sorry," Peter whispered. "I'm sorry too," said the old man. Eli stood at the door, quietly watching. His heart was full. Chapter 9. A Second Chance. Peter took leave from his job and stayed in the village. He helped care for his father, cleaned the house, and cooked meals. Eli still visited, but now there were 3 people at the table. One afternoon, Mr. Dawson looked at Eli and said, "You're the reason we're together again." Peter nodded. "You reminded me what really matters." Eli smiled. Families should never stay apart. Chapter 10. Goodbye, but not alone. Winter came. The hills were covered in snow. Mr. Dawson grew weaker each day, but he smiled more often now. One night, with Peter and Eli by his side, he whispered, "I'm ready now." He closed his eyes and took his last breath, peacefully, with love around him. The village church rang its bells for him. Everyone came to the funeral, even those who hadn't spoken to him in years. They all had tears in their eyes. Chapter 11. The Bench by the Tree. A month later, Peter built a bench under the old oak tree near the house. He carved words on it, "In memory of Henry Dawson, a father, a friend, and a kind soul." Eli would often sit on that bench, remembering the stories, the laughter, and the lessons he had learned. Peter decided to stay in the village. He opened a small carpentry shop, just like his father once had. And Eli, he grew up believing that kindness could change lives because it truly had.